Well, hello everyone. This is Julie. I am here from the Scraps of My Life, and I want to do a quick video if that's even that word shouldn't even exist in my vocabulary, but I'm going to try because you see this stuff on my desk right here. Before I realized what I was doing this morning, I was pulling out another stack of stuff to start another book, and I haven't even showed you the last two that I've done. So I told you I was doing them, and I'm pulling these out so I don't lose them because I'm going to move this because I wanted you to see that I have already mindlessly started pulling stuff out. And if you could just see, I have a table, I have a double desk here, I have a footstool back here, everything's covered. So before I make more mess, and I was straightening it up a tad, I want to show you my two books real quick. Now, I was working on this one for myself for the challenge that Nazi had put forth about making what I call a glue book. I'm really, you know what, right now it slips my mind. I don't know exactly what she called it, but I call it a glue book. And there is no way that this book is ever going to be 100% as long as I'm using it finished. So I did get it, the pages finished. I did get it stitched together, and I still have not decided what I want to use as my title, but I did cut out this piece of beautiful paper, and that is going to be glued down right here. And I don't want to glue it down until I know what I'm putting on it. So I want to make sure that it's going to, I might decide to do strips or something. So I just want to be sure that it's what I want to use. So my title, when I decide on what it is, I was doing some writing the other day trying to figure out what that would be, and I really didn't come up with anything that made me happy. So just going to flip through this one for you. I did the binding on the side with a complete 100% embroidery floss that you use to hand stitch embroidery with. And I did not make it, usually you pull the threads down to pairs of 3. Well, I left the whole 6 strand there to keep it nice and strong. So this is my front. I really didn't do any more to this. This is my wish. And for those who didn't see the other video, this is my garden / wish garden video book that was inspired by Nazi. She inspired me to do one. I have never done a glue book before, and that meaning that I'm using pages from magazine pages to put in it. So I'm just going to quickly flip through because there's some things I did, some things I didn't change. So I'm just going to do a really fast flip through of this one because I did kind of go through it before I bound it the other day. Like I said, there are some things and I did fix this. Like I said, I wanted to do the fold out on it, and that's nice. That'll be really nice to write on. Keep track of the year's garden in. My sister gave me a really great idea. I went and took some pictures, by the way, yesterday evening when the sun was really shining beautifully across the flowers and things of my succulents. So I'll have those ready to go in there. This is some paper I stuck in here to have for journaling. I glued some, I'm skipping 2 or 3 pages here. I added this little bit here and this little seed pocket I made. And I said, you can't have a garden journal without seed pockets. So I'm going to make probably a couple more of those. But I added on my center page, I added this paper, punched the corners of it, and I haven't found my butterfly punch over there that I want to use. So I'm going to, and I might even just actually use some charms on this. I haven't decided. So here it sits. This is my center. So I got to figure out what I want to put on there, whether it's charms or whether it's whatever. I added this little music score thing on the side here. And I lost my little heart, so I've got to find it. I've misplaced it amongst all this junk to my left that I'm not going to even show you. This right here, I said I would tell you about this when I was sitting the other day writing, and it's here also somewhere. I have a little piece of paper. See, this is why I need journals, because I write on bits of paper and lose them. Like I said, that's why I say that I forget more than most people will ever know, and that's because of things like that, of that nature. But anyway, I should say I lose more than most people ever find, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted a, I looked up, I was going to do the definition of the word garden because they had these cool letters in the magazine that I used. Um, See, I can't even think of the name of it. Um, the Daphne's Diary magazine, and they had these cool letters in there. So I cut them up and put them together to spell the word garden, and I dawdled them in with, my pens over there. And when I looked up the word definition for garden, I wasn't thrilled with it. And I said, a garden is really way more than that. So I wrote my own definition of a garden, and this is what I came up with. This is what I believe a garden is. Just off the top of my head, it's a space set apart to cultivate sustainability and beauty for the continuation of nature and ourselves. I thought that was much more befitting in the way I see the world than what they actually had for the word, a, a, a place. I don't even know exactly how they worded it, but it was kind of boring. So I did my own definition, and there's that. There it is. Okay, so just a piece of paper. Still love this right here. Didn't add anything to that or that. I did add this pocket border here on this one to the side, and put this. This is a stamp from a paper set, paper group, whatever paper line that I have. I love that butterfly, so I stuck that in here. Kind of toned down all that busyness. Did a little bit of stamping back here in the back. Turned out kind of cute. See? Did two different colors here with the brown and the Brilliance. What is that called? Brilliance Rocket Red. It's really pretty color. It's got gold in it. It's really gorgeous. Okay, and just a tag over here. This I showed you the other day that has a pocket in it that I made from a separate magazine. This one here with the, wanting to be ornery since I put the book together, it's wanting to be tighter. So yeah. And then the little flip up here is the same. And I trimmed this down. It was interfering with this page on this side. So I trimmed it down, added the butterfly to it, stuck a tag in there to decorate later down the road, to do some inking and all that sort of fun stuff with. Put a hand over here. That was in the paper group actually that I just had sitting up here to show you. Came from that paper line, and tied a bow around it so as not to forget something to do in the garden. Stuck this up here and stapled it as notes, just a slip to, I added this paper to this side. This paper I did nothing to. And then in this pocket here, this pocket is going to be for some things that I'm going to stick in here to have along the way. An envelope, paper, to use in the book. So this is where they're going to be stored once I get them all bunched together, because right now I have a lot of stuff in this little folder right here. So when I find things that I'm thinking I might use in here, I'm going to stick them in. This is a nice pocket I added there. And then my little tag I made and the back page. And I did not do it because I couldn't find what I wanted to match this and this with the other day. But it was the weekend, okay? On the weekend, my husband comes home and there is no real crafting because my brain doesn't work right when he's here. So that is my excuse. Okay, so that's the back, and that's my book, and it's bound and it's ready to start using, and I am thrilled about it. Okay, so now, but while I was finishing that one up, before I actually finished that one, see, this is my problem. Before I actually got that one done, I talked to my granddaughter. I thought, I don't know if I said this in the other video or not. I was talking to her on the phone and speaking with her, and I showed her a page in my album I was working on. And she really liked it. And I said, "You want me to make you one?" And she said, "Yeah." So this is the result of that conversation. Now, hers is a little bit smaller. I'd say 3/4, at least an inch smaller, if not an inch shorter, and just a little bit less wide. But it holds the full size um, magazine pages I used. And I bound hers on the side over here with a pink and yellow embroidery floss cord. And then the back of hers is like this. And I did some washi on hers because I wanted to keep hers a little bit plainer on the front in case she wanted to do some doodling on it or add something herself. I kept this so that she could make it her own because she's the one that likes art and reading and that sort of thing and poetry. Now, I have not completed the front cover here because I haven't decided if I'm going to actually put paper in here. I may just leave it like it is, and I'm going to glue these edges down, of course, so that it'll be a pocket. And I found this in my journaling bits, and I put it down here with some double-sided tape and made her a little card here to go inside that she can journal on or whatever. Add a picture too, maybe of herself, because I did buy her a little quick shoot camera for Christmas. It spits the pictures out right away. So here on the front, I had actually had a magazine. Believe it or not, I was so happy to have found it. This is actually from a couple of my magazines, but the Somerset Studio, um, while people are kind of going wah-wah over the Daphne's Diaries and the other one, what is it called? The Flow magazines. I have always been in love with the Somerset Studio, the Somerset series. They have like tons of magazines now they've come out with. So they did an art one, and I picked one up one day, and I forgot I had it. So some of this is Somerset Studio, where they did a magazine completely on artwork. So that's what this pretty much is. So, and their paper is really nice, even though has a low sheen gloss on it. It's still very writable as long as you don't use a wet ink on it. Um, very nice magazine. I love their magazines, all of them, every one of them. And so for her, I put in here some drawing paper because she likes colored pencils, and I had bought her a whole set for Christmas, and so now she has readily some paper in here, and along with what she has in her actual drawing books and multimedia books, she now has some inside of her journal. So if she wants to draw something, she can. I just love how this book turned out. I mean, I love the colors. I'm a self-proclaimed little artist myself, and I love this right here. I love the colors that this artist did here in this with the owl and the little things that fall out of the trees that I can't think of right now. The little things they whoo down to the ground, they fall out of the trees in the springtime. So beautiful, so beautiful. And my granddaughter happens to love owls. So this is very befitting, and I love that this book, this magazine, has that since they did the art um, they focused on the art, they also did the articles on the same. So even though she may not, because may have colored up the last letter of the words there, she'll be able to, kind of look and, oh, okay. And, you know, it's about art, it's about the artist. So I thought that was super, super cool. And I also did a little bit of filming when I was made this book. I didn't do the whole thing because, like I said, my husband came home and then blah, and that was that. I mean, I love having him here and everything. That's not the thing. The thing is, my creativity goes to the 20% level, because I have other things going on and cooking and cleaning and doing laundry and being with him. So, anyway, the white pages, like, isn't that beautiful? I mean, that's the artist's work right there. It's just beautiful. Dream big, go places, follow through, and don't forget to have some fun. I mean, beautiful. Perfect for a teenager. Okay. So I made a pocket here, and as I have not done the tags yet, I may just put her some blank tags like I did in my book. I don't have one to pick up and throw in here right now, but they are behind me, as everything else is. And I backed this. This was a really pretty, now this is out of a different magazine, and the paper was thinner, and I was a little worried about it getting torn. So I doubled it up on the edges, and then I glued it to this heavy cardstock. Excuse me, so that it would be, because I wanted to use it as a pocket. And I put it in here for her because, you know, to me, every artist's work is a study. And, just like, most of us go on YouTube to look at other people's journals and mini albums and even your 3D projects where they're doing doll houses and all this stuff. Um, we study it and we learn from it and we apply it and add our own style. Well, you do that with art as well, unless you are a Bach or a Beethoven and you don't need any study. But most of us do, because most of us are curious, and you know some people are born with, let's say, a silver spoon in their mouth like Bach and Beethoven, and there's been artists that I can't name right now who that's just who they are, that's their style, and it comes through everything they do. And so some are that way. Some are what I call the absolute gifted. And some of us just know how to have fun with it, right? So I figured that all of these beautiful pieces would be an inspiration to her. And I'm leaving the white back sides of the, got to have a nice tooth. And even, I haven't tried it. And if she doesn't get it too wet, she could even do a little watercolor pencils back here. So I'm going to explain, of course, all of this to her when I give her this book. And I'll be seeing her within a couple of weeks here. So going up to visit them in Georgia. This is a tag that I got, this little piece of art, and it was just this little piece. It was like in an ad page, and I wanted to use it. So I had this left over from, listen how heavy that is. I mean, goodness, it makes a perfect cover. Had it left over from the cover, and I used it here. And I thought, I can even add some paper in here, which I think I positively will, because this little band that I put here is nice and loose, as you can see, and it will definitely hold it. So I'm going to make this like a booklet for her. And what I will do, instead of stapling, I will take and punch holes, put my punch holes in my paper. I've done this before in other books I've done, and then tie a bow around it, and then the papers will be here, and all she has to pull them loose if she wants to. But I wanted to include that because I thought I like stuff like that. That's pretty much why. The fox over here, just love him. He is so adorable, isn't he? Over here we have a full page, side page of the artist's work. I had to look and see, make sure I was actually recording. I was thinking I wasn't. And over here, where I had part of the drawing page over here, wherever that went, there it is. I did the larger part here. So I was sure to put a large part completely page wide, and then a part that, you know, she can have smaller to doodle on. This paper feels so nice. It really does. Really pretty. And I added some edges on some of these, on actually quite a few of these, so that they, you know, they won't get torn when she's going flipping through it. This one I didn't. I left this. I thought this was a nice study for a face, and hair, and everything, and proportion for her. So I left that just like that. Did a little tiny bit of stamping. Wasn't happy with it. I felt like for her art book, like I said, that I would just leave these pages, you know, blank for her to do something with. Otherwise, it would be filled up and she couldn't do anything. So, yeah. So a paper clip just holding some things down. Here's another slip-through pocket down here. So I had cut out a heart to go there, but it did not fit properly. So I'll have to put something else there for her. Just some tabs I added. This is some of my very first, and matter of fact, I do have my very first digital art piece folded and put it in this book, because it doesn't mean really that much to me, but it might mean something to her. She is my oldest granddaughter, and when I first learned with a mouse, and back then it had cords on them. Okay, they were not wireless. That I could actually draw in the paint program on the Windows Paint. I could actually draw. And so this is what this is a result of. This is when I realized that I could digitally draw with a mouse. And it was like I was just like astonished, because I did not think you could control one of those things enough to draw with it. So this is a result of that. And so this is part of that. And I put down here went about the year. You know, it may have been a year, you know, a few months forward or backward, but I put on here that it was by me. And I thought she might enjoy that. And I do have some more that when I come to it, I'll show it to you. It's very primal, okay, but it is for her purpose. And I did not erase. I have little dots there where I wanted to put the, you know, add something in the digital, and I drew it when I printed it, and I said I want to add this. I dotted it with a pencil. I didn't even erase any of my markings. I left everything just like I had it in my sketchbook. And for her, there's another gorgeous. Look at that owl. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. And I thought this little piece of paper, the color and everything was very befitting to go with it. There's the back of that owl. Cute bunny. There's a doll. I thought this might give her some ideas. It sure does give me some. I love playing with paper dolls when I was a girl. And I'm determined to do a book uh, for my new granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, before it's over with. Okay, so here I had some glassine bag left over from where I had made an envelope in my book. And I took the top part of it actually, and I closed it in, and I made her a pocket, and I put this little dream tag in here. This is about color, and this is from a different magazine than the one I had originally. That's from Cloth Paper Scissors. Let's see. Back then, I armed myself with pretty blank journals and a stash of colorful markers to illustrate my quotes. So yeah, see, it tells about the artist's thoughts and all kind of stuff. It's really cool. I made a pocket here out of this. I was going to trim this down and, you know, make it straight so it wouldn't get torn. And I said, you know what? I am going to make a pocket out of that instead and leave it just like it is. And so I took a piece of paper, I pinned out the word pocket, and I filled it in with color, and put this little, it's not by Prima, but you know, from a different company down here, and I put the word pocket I just thought it was cute. It really looked befitting with the type of art that was here. And this is my first when I first realized, and I wrote down here for her um, about that. So I'm going to stick that back in there. That was my very first. It's a baby with a bib and a bow in its hair. Here's a little bit of my artwork that I had done by hand, and then I was trying to turn it digital to be able to manipulate it a little more. So this is a piece that I was working with. And like I said, that pencil mark right there, I sketched out really quick a little wagon, um, not wagon, but a wheelbarrow of wood with a wood wheel, and to go with the garden theme, the little girls talking across the fence. And I wrote her a poem. Actually, it's a poem that I had written, and it was in my book. So, when I'm creating, I do poetry, I do drawing, all kind of things. My brain just goes that way, and so I just follow it when it does. When it gets crazy, I stop it and say, okay, time to stop and reload here. I put this little thing up here. This is really cute. This is a nice tab to turn the page with so it doesn't get damaged. So I wrote that poem in here for her to read because it is a if you believe you can type of poem. So I wrote that in for her. This piece of paper right here is one that when at Christmas time she came upstairs and sat here at my desk and was playing with her pencils, and she just did a bunch of different colors, and she did a yellow sheet and she did an orange sheet, and I just took the one of the sheets she did. I had cut out a doily, and it's actually I think I put it in one of my other books. I don't remember. But I cut it out as a doily, the Martha Stewart round punch doily. And I kept it and put her name on it. And I put her name on this and the year she did it. And I added this to her journal page. I mean, to her journal page. So, and she can actually write something here if she wants to. And because that is just pencil. And I think she'll get a kick out of that. And then here in the middle where I joined the pages, I put this beautiful spread. I just had to have this in the middle because she is so pretty, isn't she? And it would teach her color and it will teach her composition. This was actually a piece on Technicolor, but I think it's just beautiful. And I love the expression on the little girl's face. And I'd cut out these little butterflies, and I did double-sided ones so that they're nice and sturdy. And put them on her strings and tied knots a couple ways because these are the polyester type and they will fray terribly if they're allowed to. So I've got them all knotted up so they won't. And they're on this side. I love this. This is me. When you see this, Brianna, think of Nana having her morning coffee and dreaming about all the things that she wants to do. So yeah, and I put dream big down here with a little cloud, a little lean-to pocket. And then this is the other side of that artwork, the fence. And I was drawing out a rose vine and the butterfly and the birdhouse. I was kind of just sketching it all out. I've got 3 little ladybugs down here. It's so fun to go back and look over things that you've done in the past. It really is. So I'm hoping that's what she'll do with this, that she will use this and go back one day and look at it and remember when she first started doing art. So yeah, that'll be so much fun. This page, I kind of just left it. I liked it and I left it. It's again, the other side of that page on the color selections. Kind of a cool insert there. This is a pocket, and I stuck it. This is my art, a digital piece. To me, my digital art is not nowhere near as pretty as hand drawn, but I did it for her, and I was not willing to part with some of my, my stuff that I had not perfected or whatever. And so I put this in here just for her. It has my digital initials, and then I wrote in a pen that it was by me. And let's see, then some more beautiful magazine card I stuck into this pocket. That is, and this is the highlight of the whole album. I hope it is for her because It is just so cute. My mom, um, years, I can't, oh my goodness, it was so long ago. I don't even remember how long it was. I was a very young woman and I had my daughter. She was a little girl. I had done my mother had bought these frogs and I still have one of them packed up somewhere, okay? One of them got broken because they were shelf sitters and they had wire coming out from underneath their body part. Their body part was heavy so that it sat. And then the wire between for their leg and then their shoes. They had shoes on. So that's why these are look like shoes with toes. That's why. So I decided to draw one. And so this is not exactly, of course, how it looked, but one of them had a flower hat on. So I made a flower hat for her and her clothes, and she's wearing garden gloves, obviously. And I wanted to put her hand behind her back because I thought it made her a little bit more mysterious. And then she's holding two rose buds and she has Isla in her dress, of course, and her naughty knees and her cute shoes that fit her froggy toes. So I hope Brianna gets a kick out of this because this is my only copy of this that I actually printed. And the original is on a computer that is so ancient, I don't even know if I plug it in, it will even work. So I hope she likes this and gets a kick out of it. I even gave her some little hair. So yeah, and I left that for her to draw underneath. Some more of my digital art on this side. Just a bunch of small stuff stuck together. Just, I did idea sheets and stuck them in my drawing book. Love this cat. When I saw this cat and then I found this paper, I said, now we know why he's smiling so big because behind him is three birdhouses. I love this little house too. It's cute. So, yeah, what is life without whimsy, right? What is it? It's non-existent. So, yeah, we have to have whimsical art. We have to. Okay, going on, and of course, all this beautiful, I love all this beautiful art. And I thought this was really cool for her to study, the girl with the flowers in her hair. So, in little houses and trees, it gives her some nature to mix with humanity, and just loved it. There's more of that drawing paper. And then this piece here is the other side of the fox. And then cardstock drawing on the back. So you know what? I love her book. I love how it turned out way better than mine. So for my second, and I love the size of this one. I think mine is just a little too tall. I love the size. It's perfect in my opinion. This is a normal, I think, I don't know. I can't remember if I had to trim the tops. I don't think I did. I think it's the full magazine page. I'm not 100% certain though, but I think it is. I think the only trimming I did was sometimes when I tore it on the edge and it got a little too jagged and I trimmed it off. I think that's all the trimming I did. So yeah, so I love her book. I love how it turned out. More drawing paper. Look at all this art. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, it's delightful just to flip through it. And then there's the back of it. And of course, I'm going to, you know, finish up the back and front covers for her. And it'll be all done and it's ready to go to her. So I just wanted to share that with you guys before I actually get into another book, okay? All right, thanks. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a super, super great day. Stay inspired.